Today is Monday, March the 3rd. We did not talk to you yesterday. No, not for any particular reason. Just did not get around to it. Yesterday was a beautiful day here. Today also is nice, but it's not quite as warm as it was yesterday. We yesterday went in to see Grandma. No big change really, although she was somewhat better. Of course, they had given her 2 units of blood by that time. They gave her one Saturday night and one yesterday. And of course, you know how that always made Nanny feel. She was always much better after she received a little bit of blood, because Grandma's blood count was way down, and they said she was very anemic. Today when we went in, she was, I thought, quite improved. She talked to us in a sane manner and did not ramble on about anything. Daddy's been very upset about her, though. I guess that's understandable. I don't know. I'm having trouble coping with that, but maybe that's because I went through it with Nanny. Anyway, today we visited with her for quite some time, and I fed her lunch again. And of course, she didn't eat very much, but she did the same thing that Nanny always did. I don't want it, I'm not hungry, and all that jazzy stuff, you know. So anyway, came home and did a couple loads of laundry and that good stuff, you know, that we always have to do. Ron came by or called about 3:30 and said he would be by in a little while. He was out in the area, so he came by and had a nice little visit with him. Nothing exciting or anything, you know. And about an hour later, Howard George came by, and we just sat and talked for a little bit longer, and Howard stayed till about 6 o'clock. We had a couple drinks, and I think Daddy had one too many, of course. He's been trying to diet because the doctor told him he should watch his weight a little bit. He informed me this morning that his fingers were better and that he did not have that tingling sensation in them. So I proceeded to tell him that I thought that it would probably go away eventually. And, of course, I think that upset him a little bit. But he has been very upset about Grandma. And the only reason I can say this to you, and I'm sure he won't play this back because he never does, is because he's not here right now. He got very mad at me this evening. But that's not unusual. We went down to the Flaming Pit, and we were going to have some chicken. And, of course, it didn't come as quickly as he thought it should come. And he got mad, and he said, well, he wasn't going to sit around and wait for it. So he got up and proceeded to leave. And I said, well, how do you think I'm going to get home? And he said, well, take a cab. Well, you know, he didn't do that, of course. He sat out there in the lobby, and Angela brought our chicken, and she asked where he was, and I said, well, I think he's out in the lobby, but I didn't know. She said, yeah, he's sitting out there. She said, what's he mad about? And I said, oh, I don't know. Don't let it bother you. I said, just give me the check and I'll pay for it and we'll be on our way. And she said, oh, no, you're not. She said, just pay for your drink. So we had only had one drink, and we didn't either one of us finish our drink. But anyway, he's pouting, and you know, when your father pouts, he pouts. So I said, let me drive home. So I drove home and got home, and we pulled in the garage, and he said, well, I'm not going to sit here. I'm going out and get me something to eat. I told him to go ahead. So he's gone out to get something to eat. He'll get over it, but I don't think that he really feels or wants to go back to Florida at this point. And I told him not to go. I said he should do what he wants to do. But I said I'm not going to drive the car home, that he's going to drive the car. I'll leave it sit there and I'll fly home. So he didn't give me much of an answer on that. Anyway, this is not any of your problem. He'll be over it tomorrow. I'm going up and having my hair done at Penny's tomorrow. And I may do a little shopping up there and just fool around. I think this time on his hands and on mine is getting to both of us. So maybe it'll get better. I put the pause on for a minute because the front doorbell rang. It was some kid selling candy for the scouts. You know, they usually come around this time of the year. Anyway, Ron didn't have a whole lot to say today. He was very pleased that he did not have to take us to the airport. He said that was a very bad time for us to be leaving, which it is. We have to be over at the airport at 5:30, and if your father goes, fine. If he doesn't, that's all right too. You know, I'm not concerned about that because I have my ticket, and so does he. And he wants to cancel his. That's fine. Anyway, Ron was more concerned that the estate has not been settled and nothing's been done about it, but I can't help that. I'm sure that when Schulthouse and the attorneys think it's time, why, it will be done. But I can't do anything about it right now. I'm trying to think what else I can tell you has happened. Nothing really. It was a little bit cloudy today, but not too bad. Yesterday was real sunny and warm. Tomorrow will be better, I hope. Aunt Louise called me this morning at 8 o'clock and told me that Alvira Dorn had passed away. She died at, let's see, what did she say? I think 1:30 this morning. She'd only been in the hospital one day, but she has been real bad for the last, 2 months at least. So that wasn't good, but Aunt Louise, of course, was crying and going on. This morning at 9:30, Kathy came by. Kathy, I can't ever think of her name, Zimmerman, brought us our tickets for Florida. Said everything is pretty well set for Australia. But there are a few little details to be worked out, and she's still waiting to book passage, really, because of the rate change, which I can understand. So anyway, I don't know anything else to tell you right now. They're supposed to move Grandma tomorrow, which they told us, so hopefully that will be all done by the time we get in there. If not, we will have to see that everything is taken care of, and I'm sure that it will be. It will be all straightened out, so it's no problem of yours anyway. So I'll say good night for now, and I love you. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hello, family. How you guys doing down there? You and Sheila and Mike. You know who we got here tonight? We're back in Florida, Carol. We flew down tonight and really didn't know whether we were going to make it or not. We got lambasted at Lambert Field for an hour and a half because your friend, George Bush, came into Kansas City, and that's where our flight originated. So it sat on the ground for an hour and a half, and it finally got to Lambert. Now, Carol, that isn't funny at all, and I know that you're not going to laugh. But you are going to laugh because Hardell's were to meet us at 10:10 in Florida. You know what time we got there, baby? 12:35. And he didn't even have a drink. He thought, well, I better not drink because I don't want to be drinking when old Jack gets there. Said he might fall asleep, your mother said. So we're back in our little place down here in Florida, and the Hardells are having a drink with us. And you're not going to believe this either, Carol. I'm going to look at the clock. It is 2:33 in the morning, and they are still here. And your mother told me a while ago she wishes they'd go home. And I said, well, you can't do it because they picked us up and waited over 2 hours at the airport. Now, they don't think I'm talking to you, Carol, but I'm going to prove it to them. I'm going to say goodbye now. Goodbye.
Now, Carol, this is Jack Hartle speaking, and your father has just told me that I should go home. It's 2:38, and the cheap bugger only gave me 2 drinks of scotch. I spent $10 driving him back here, and I'll get even one of these days. Goodbye.
Okay, this is Thursday morning, almost noon, I guess now. 1:20. Oh, it is 1:20. We got our mail. Finally got rid of Hardell last night. He calls himself Hartle, so I guess that's what I ought to call him. And this morning when we got our mail, we got a tape. And it was the tape where side 2 had Randy and Cheryl's arrival on it, which we both got a kick out of. Brought tears to our eyes, not for pain, but for joy. And I didn't write down anything, Mike, that you had to say, but you took up the first side of the tape, which we were glad to hear. You did it all. And you asked a question about the tractor on the beach. Well, they're just regular Ford Ferguson tractors like we would have, used to have. And they have a rake on the back. And it's not a fine-tooth rake. It's a rake that I would imagine are about 3 or 4 inches, the teeth. And it picks up anything of any size and a little sand with it. And after it passes through, it's nice and smooth. Looks like you just combed your hair. And we don't have a problem here with papers and cans and bottles. Most of ours is from the Gulf. In fact, it all is. Most of it look like pea pods or something that wash up here. And I'm sure if you don't remember, Carol probably does, and a bunch of moss and stuff like that. And yeah, old wet sponges and stuff like that. And sometimes a little debris comes in. There might be a couple of broken up crab traps or something like that. But then there is a truck that comes down the beach and picks up that sort of thing. But this stuff, they rake it into till the rake gets full, and then they just run out in the water a little ways because they always do it when the tide's going out. And it takes it back out, and I don't know if they ever thought about it, but it comes right back in again when the tide comes in. But at least it keeps employment on the upgrade and somebody something to do. So I think that's a good arrangement. The thing about the tape, I think you're right. I think it was probably a defaulty tape, and we didn't really lose too much of it. We heard the squeaky beach and that part of it. And the part that we lost, I don't know how much talking it is, but I don't think we lost any more than not even a foot, I don't imagine. Maybe a little bit more. We got it back together, and then we lost some more, a little bit more. But altogether, we didn't lose any more than a foot or so. So I don't imagine we missed very much. And the other tape, I guess we've told you by now, and I'm sure you received it, that you just absolutely had it on play instead of talk, evidently, and didn't listen to it as you would do to proofread something that you had written to see that you had all the spelling right. So anyway, there's nothing lost there because you didn't say anything. Whatever you said, it didn't come through. So, and I know you couldn't remember what that was, so you can't repeat it. As I say, we did enjoy getting the tape. Glad the kids got to take that extra stop. They didn't say why, and maybe it's not necessary that we know, but usually when you got a non-stop, they stop for some reason. And I hope that one of the engines didn't fall off or something, or they didn't run out of gas. But anyway, we're scheduled to stop, as you know, going over in Tahiti, Sydney, and then Melbourne. And coming back, Fiji's, Hawaii, and San Francisco. So that's our itinerary. And I hope by the time we get back from Florida now that Kathy has got it all together. She has had plenty of time. So I don't know what else to say. We're glad to be back here in Florida. We haven't heard from Ron, so evidently Grandma's fine. saw Charlie and Goldie because they had our mail. And Ruth had called this morning, so they're all glad we're back. So we'll be in touch with them, and I'm going to say goodbye for now. Goodbye.
Well, it's my turn to talk now. As Daddy said, we're both glad to be back in Florida. We were pretty tired last night. I think it was 3 o'clock before we got to bed. And so we slept until, I think it was 8:45 this morning. And I mean, really did sleep. I think the thing that woke me up was the tractor going up and down the beach. It was very cloudy this morning when we got up, but the sun is out nice now. The wind is a little bit cool. We just walked over to see if Ruth and John were there, but they're not there. They said they were going to go for a drive today. Their daughter-in-law, Karen, has had quite a problem. They had to get the paramedics for her the other night. She's had a real bad ear infection, and she said the pain was unbearable, but I think she is better. They were scheduled to go back to Denver on Saturday, but as I understand it, she is not allowed to fly, so she has another doctor appointment this coming Tuesday, and I guess they'll decide then what they're going to do. I don't know if Jack's going to stay here that long or not, but Karen and little Kelsey, I'm sure, will have to remain, because they've absolutely forbidden her to fly at this time. We're told that she had this infection before she left Denver and that it never did clear up completely, and then it just got real bad. Anyway, getting back to your tape, Sheila enclosed a little tiny note in it, which I was glad to read. When I looked at it, I couldn't imagine why she was writing it on that, but then she went on to explain why. We're going to the grocery store tomorrow, and I will get some more of that Chinese mix for you, and also get Sheila some Kool-Aid, no grape, sugar-free. And let's see, Mike, you asked me about my first Social Security check. Well, I'll tell you, I hadn't really forgotten about what I said. I did buy the lawn chair. I bought one down here, and I did not buy a lamp because I don't know if you remember. I'm sure I must have said something to you. Ron gave me a high-intensity lamp that he had through one of the hospitals. It's a quite heavy, bulky thing, but for what I wanted it for, it will serve the purpose until I can find just the right kind. I would like to have just a small one that I can put right over my shoulder or somehow like that I can put my work up to. This is a big one that he gave me, and it's got a big magnifying glass on it, and it's quite powerful. It really does a good job, but I have to be sitting at a table almost to use it so that I can lay my work on the table. Anyway, that took care of that question. I don't know that you asked me anything else or said much of anything else that I can answer you. Charlie and Goldie are leaving for home. They said Saturday or Sunday, so I'm sure that will be Saturday, knowing them. They're pretty well packed up, and their house is all cleaned up, and Goldie's getting I don't know what she's getting today, her hair done, something today. Charlie's gone to have the car service, so the Hardells, we haven't seen them today. As we walked over to Ruth and John's, why, their car was not there either. So I guess everybody's out bumming around doing some good stuff today. We're just kind of taking it easy because we're both still a little bit tired. And by the time we just finished paying all the bills and getting everything taken care of, why, pretty soon it'll be time to think about getting some supper going here, and we're going to eat in tonight. I got some hamburgers that have been in the freezer, and I don't know what else we're going to have. Oh, macaroni and cheese, I think. Haven't really decided yet. I walked across the street to the little grocery store and got some fresh milk, and we've got orange juice here, and we've got grapefruit, and there was butter and bread in the freezer, so. And we brought bacon from the smokehouse, and we brought some barbecue sauce from home. Their barbecue sauce down here is something to be desired. It's just not good. You know, we're used to the Crafts and not Crafts, to the malls, and you can't purchase that down here. So we brought a bottle of that. The Hardell couldn't understand why our carry-on was so heavy. Of course, we had 5 pounds of bacon in there and barbecue sauce and my jewelry box and the tape recorder and some tapes and everything in there practically was heavy except a few. Daddy had a couple shirts and a couple pair of underwear, and I had a top or two, and that's all. We had no shoes or anything like that in there. So they couldn't believe it. They said, "You didn't really bring that." And when I started unloaded last night, they laughed. They said, "My God, you did bring it." So anyway, I've about run out of chit-chat for right now, and I'm going to take a look at this thing and see how much time I've got left on this one side. We sure did enjoy getting your tape today. As I told Daddy, it seemed like it'd been a long time since we got one. We look forward to them. That's the daily thing, to go up here and see if we got any mail. Anyway, I don't know what else to tell you, so I guess I'll knock it off for now. I'm reading a real good book, and I'm going to get back into that. I'm trying to get some names of some couple good ones to bring along on the plane so that I can read. Our flight down last night was real nice. It seemed long. It was long waiting at the airport, but once we got in the air, they served dinner immediately. Of course, it was 10 o'clock or after by that time, so I enjoyed it. I don't think Daddy cared too much for it. We had a burrito. They served a burrito with chili on the top of it, and some, I don't know if it was Mexican corn or Spanish corn or whatever, and a nice tossed salad, and a piece of like a chocolate cake. It was plenty. We only had one drink on the plane because they only had that's all they had. They ran out of scotch, and then they didn't have any brands. We had Johnny Walker Red, I think it was. And they had two little, they serve you those little bottles, and they had two of them, and that's all they had. She said that the long delay in Kansas City, everybody used up everything. So they sat up in Kansas City for an hour and a half after they were all loaded on the plane, waiting for Vice President Bush's Air Force One to clear the airways or whatever he was doing. I don't know. He was up in, I think he was in Fulton for something, some sort of a speech that connected with Churchill. I don't know what it was all about. But anyway, they said that was quite long for the people that were on the plane. The man sitting next to us said that they sat out there for an hour and a half, and that they told them that they had 60 planes in a holding pattern that couldn't come into St. Louis and couldn't leave Kansas City. So that really screwed up the whole thing. I don't think there was a plane that was on time yesterday or last night that came in. So anyway, now I am going to cut it off because I don't know what else to tell you. Tell Sheila to give us a report on her school when she gets further along. We love you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Mike, I failed to answer your question about betting, my method. I was talking about Highlight, which I don't know whether you ever saw Highlight. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But anyway, that doesn't make any difference. It's pari-mutuel just like it is on horses or dogs. And my favorite numbers are 2, 3, and 4. And I box 2, 3, and 4, and they give you every combination of 2, 3, and 4 that could come in, like 4, 3, and 2, 4, and, well, you can figure it out. Any combination of 2, 3, and 4, and it's a $6 bet. And I read the papers on the results, and if I would have been there, and if I would have boxed 2, 3, and 4 for the 10 or 12 games that they play, well, I just now picked up the paper and looked at Tuesday and Wednesday's results. And if I would have boxed 2, 3, and 4 for $6 in all of the games, I would have gotten back for my $120 about $250. But that doesn't always work that way. Some days 2, 3, and 4 didn't come into the thing at all. And other days it seems like they're real good. So that's what I was talking about. And the night we went over there, if we would have stayed one more game, I would have gotten my money back. So I lost, I don't know, $30 or something. So enough of that. We got Life's a Beach book that you sent to us, and it was quite interesting to see and to read the customs and how everything came about. And it is a different beach crowd than we have here in the United States. Maybe we have that type someplace in America, but not where we are. So I hope Randy got to see what he wanted to see over there. And as I told you, I'm going to walk backwards because I wouldn't look at anything like that. So that's a little nonsense, but we are looking forward to making it over there. And I think maybe that we answered most of your questions. If I think of anything else, I'll pick this thing up. As you'll notice, I went back to the 60 minutes. That 30-minute job seems like every time I'm getting right in the middle of what I'm saying, it clicks off, and I got to turn it over. So I'm using the 60 minutes, and it costs the same to mail as it does the 30-minute. So we're going to let you go now, and I'll pick it up to finish it up a little later. I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye.
Well, good morning, family. It's now Sunday morning. I have to look at the date. Let's see. Today is what? I don't even know. March the 9th. We're assuming that Randy is home now. We looked at his itinerary, and hopefully the TWA strike did not affect him. Half of the planes are flying, we understand, and the other half not. And if the mechanic should go out, why, Daddy just told me that they did go out last night, so that will probably shut down all TWA flights. If he got home all right, he's probably lucky because he would have had to scrounge around for another airline to get him home. We may call him this evening sometime, see how everything is up there. We haven't talked to you since, I guess, maybe Friday. I'm trying to think. The time is passing quickly now. We went out to dinner with the Hardells Friday night, down to the boat. We went to their house first for a drink, and then went down to the boat, came back here and played Rummy Cube. Your daddy won as usual. I can't seem to win that darn game for anything. Yesterday was a beautiful day here, absolutely gorgeous. We went to the store early in the morning and didn't have a whole lot to do, but we got it all taken care of. And we were back here by, 10:30, I think. So I sat out by the pool until, 1:30 or so. Then I came in, and Daddy was sitting on the porch here, so I sat out on the porch with him, and we sat there till about 3:30, 4:45, I guess, or I did. He came on in to watch bowling or something on TV. I don't know what he was watching. But anyway, it was a nice day. We didn't go out last night. We had leftovers. I had prime rib down at the boat, and naturally I had a roast again. So we had enough for last night's dinner, and we got enough. There go the Hardells right now. The Hardells are just walking by. They can't see me. I put this on pause for a minute because they were waving at us from the beach and they could not see me inside the condo, so I walked out on the porch for a few minutes. Anyway, we've got enough for another meal of prime rib, so I don't know, I'll probably make some chop suey out of that. We got Sheila's some Kool-Aid at the store, some sugar-free. I think we got cherry and fruit punch. That's all they had besides grape and a lemonade. If she wants some of that, she'll have to let me know. I know she didn't want grape. And we got you a couple of packages of that Chinese mix, that Sunbird for chop suey stuff. I think that's what I'm going to probably make out of the rest of my beef that I got in there. It seems to get pretty well done by the time I have to heat it up in the oven, when I reheat it. The only other way it'd be good is for a cold roast beef sandwich, and your father never eats lunch, so that took care of that right quick. Last night after we'd finished dinner, why, about 8 o'clock, here came the Hardells. They'd been walking on the beach again. They sure like to walk that beach. They, I think they walk about an hour. I saw them go down the beach here at 8:30, and it's now 9:15, and they said they had 10. I'm now on the other side, and I know I just finished saying your father to do that. What else can I tell you? Anyway, they didn't stay too long last night. We sat here and had a drink, and I guess they left about 9 o'clock. They hadn't had their dinner yet. People down here, other than Daddy and I, don't seem to be on any set time schedule. I don't guess we're on a real strict one, but we like to eat by 6 or 6:30 usually. We had an hour wait down at the boat Friday night, which wasn't bad because we went into the bar and we got a seat immediately. So you don't mind waiting if you can sit down, but when you can't get a seat, it's pretty bad. Everything has really gotten crowded down here now. Of course, this is the month of March. Today, I think I'm going to go do a couple loads of laundry up. You know, I have to go up on the second floor. It never seems to be as crowded on a Sunday or in the evening as it does during the week. It's always a wait otherwise. But I've probably got 2 loads up there anyway, so I'll get it done up, and then I won't have to do it for another week. You'd be surprised when you don't have a washer and dryer at your beck and call, and for free, that how you do conserve on clothes, other than underwear. I mean, we wear a pair of shorts a couple days, and Daddy wears the shirts a couple days, so, and we use our towels a couple times, which normally we don't do, but when you have to pay 75 cents to do a load of laundry and 50 cents to have it dried, why, it does add up. So that's why we try and save as much as we can. And we're a little bit more careful with towels, as I said. I'm trying to think what else I can tell you. We haven't heard a word from Ron, so I guess this afternoon sometime Daddy will call up there and see what the situation is. We're betting 10-1 that he hasn't even been in to see Grandma. Otherwise, I'm sure we would have heard from him because we told him to call us when he got in there. But that's your brother. I'm beginning to think he's not our son, he's your brother. How do you like that, Carol? I know you're going to answer me and say, yes, Mother. Anyway, I can't think of anything else to tell you, and I'm getting silly. It's going to be a nice day. It's not real sunny yet, but it's supposed to get up to in the high 70s today. We've been noticing in the paper that Sydney, that's the only one they give. They've been in the 70s every day, so I'm still undecided about what kind of clothes I'm going to bring down there, but I guess I'll just bring whatever I got. Some light-colored clothes and a few dark pair of slacks, and let it go with that. I guess if I run out of something, I can buy it. Like Daddy said, you do have a washer and dryer over there, so although I understand you're hanging stuff on the line. But I imagine by the time we get there, it'll be too cold to do that outside. Well, that's about it for now. We'll try and get back to you after we know some more. Maybe we'll know something about Grandma this afternoon. But like I told Daddy, I'm sure that if there were any great changes or anything, that somebody would have called us because the hospital's got our telephone number. And they would have gotten a hold of us, and so is the home. And the home keeps in touch, they said. They told us. What else? I think John and Ruth, they're going to walk over with their daughter-in-law and son and little girl. She's sure a cute little thing. She's 3 years old, and she talks like she's 40. She, no baby talk at all to her. Just everything is cut and dried, you know. They're supposed to go home, I think, on Wednesday if Karen's ears are better. She says they're improving daily, and she has to go back to the doctor on Tuesday, so I think they're scheduled to go out Wednesday sometime. I don't know what they're flying, but hopefully it's not TWA. Well, that'll be all for now. As I said before, we love you. Take care, and we'll get this tape in the mail in a couple days. Bye-bye. Well, it's me again. Today is Monday, March the 10th. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We've had a very cloudy day here today, but warm. We went over to the mall this morning because it had rained during the night and it was very cloudy, so there wasn't a whole lot to do. Didn't do anything. I'm trying to find a suit, but I couldn't find what I wanted. Daddy bought a couple shirts. And we came on back. I went for a walk up the beach. I walked up to the public park where they put the jetty out into the water. It's the first time I've gone up that far. It's really something. The beach, if you remember correctly, when the tide came in, you had to walk up onto the public beach to get around it. And now it's, it's real wide. I can't begin to tell you how wide because I'm no judge, but twice as wide as we are here from the water. Not a whole lot's happening today. The TV is going pretty loud, but that's all right. Stopped by John and Ruth. Their daughter-in-law and son are still here. The migraine headaches that she gets so severe are still with her. She goes to the doctor tomorrow. Hopefully they can fly back to Denver on Wednesday, but they have to wait and see what the doctor says. She spent most of her time in bed since they've been down here, and they've been down here over a week. That's a terrible way to spend a vacation in Florida. There wasn't a whole lot they could do about it, though. She was really sick. She doesn't look good, and she's so thin anyway. I don't know if she weighs 80 pounds. She's skin and bones to me, but she's always been very tall and very slender, but now she really looks thin. We're getting company right now when Grandpa doesn't even see him coming. I'm motioning for them to come on in, so I'll cut this off and I'll get back to you a little bit later. Bye-bye. Well, it's now a little bit later. It's 9 o'clock, same evening. It was Jack and Betty Hardell. They had just walked over and came in and he had a couple drinks and she had one, and we discussed a few things that weren't a bit important. We're going out to dinner with them and Ruth and Alf Haney, who are school teachers from Canada that we have met every year down here, and very nice people. He's the principal of a school and she's a librarian, and they have a week. And also Gordy and Dot, they're staying with Gordy and Dot for 4 days, and then they'll come back over here to the beach and spend 4 days with Jack and Betty Hardell. Tomorrow is Gordon and Dot's anniversary, so that's why we're going out to dinner, and I'm going to have the cocktail hour here before we go. Wednesday we're supposed to go out with Nell and Earl Gates for the day. I don't know what they want to do, something, but I don't know what we're going to do. And Thursday, Betty Hardell is having a brunch for the Haneys who are going to be here. I don't know what's happening Friday. Saturday, again, Betty Hardell is having, as they call it, their happy hour. We call it a cocktail hour. And then we're supposed to go to her house and play some cards. So our week is pretty well taken care of. I don't have a whole lot more to tell you. We're going to be getting ready for bed pretty soon. We just talked to Randy and Cheryl on the phone, and I'll let Grandpa tell you all about that because he hasn't talked for quite some time. I love you, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Okay, you got me. You notice I just turned that television down. I can't talk to you with that thing blaring out 50 miles an hour. But we did talk to Randy and Cheryl. I didn't talk to Randy very long. He said Cheryl wanted to talk to me. So she just told me that they got a couple free meals from TWA or no United because they got to California and their luggage wasn't there, so they had to wait on it. But evidently they didn't have to wait overnight. Well, they had a hotel, I guess. So anyway, they got home at a reasonable hour on Saturday night, I guess, or Sunday night. I don't know. We tried to call them, and unfortunately, they were gone to the store or something. They said they were gone about maybe an hour, and we didn't get them, so we waited till tonight, and we got a hold of them. And they couldn't say anything bad about their trip over there. They sure enjoyed it, they said, but they didn't tell us a whole lot of what they did. And I guess maybe they didn't want to go into it on the telephone, but they evidently enjoyed it. And we're looking forward to our scant over there. We got our passports today with our visas in them. So I guess we're all set. I don't know a whole lot more to say. They didn't elaborate a whole lot on it except that they said that you lived in Ladue, and I don't know what that means. I guess it means you live in Ladue. Now you're going to laugh, Carol, when you hear that, but if that's true, that's true. I've known people who lived in Ladue. They didn't have any problems, and I don't imagine you do either, and I'm glad you do. Your mother just told you that Jack and Betty stopped here. They were going someplace tonight to go out to eat with some friends from Canada that have a condominium down here. We don't know them, so we're involved with enough people, so we didn't need to get involved with any more. So anyway, that's what they did tonight. Goldie and Charlie left Saturday. They're gone. John and Ruth's daughter-in-law is under the weather with her ear and her migraines. So that doesn't leave too many more people here that are well, like your mother and I. Gates has called and wanted us to go someplace with him Tuesday. Well, Tuesday was a bad day because we're going out with Gordy and Hartle and the Haneys for Gordy's anniversary. So we pushed that off till Wednesday. So I guess we're going to, I don't know. We had talked about going out to Cypress Gardens with them, so that might be where we're going. They've added, besides the water skiing and so forth, they've added a ice show, skating, and also a snow ski exhibition, besides a few other things. So they have to try to get something new all the time, so I guess that's what they've done. So if that's where we go, that's where we go. Otherwise, we probably will go to one of the cities around here, like, well, we might go to Sarasota to the circus thing, or we could go up north to some of those places that have glass-bottom boats and stuff like that. But anyway, we'll do something here in the area, I'm sure. Today was a very pretty day, except that it didn't know whether it wanted to cloud up or be sunny. but it was up in the 70s. Tomorrow's going to be in the 80s. There could be a little bit of rain in the forecast, but still warm. In fact, the rest of the week is supposed to be very warm. We did talk to your brother yesterday, which was a call that I just as well not have made because he couldn't wait to get off the phone. I don't think he didn't want to talk. He did go in to see Grandma last Friday. That was 2 days after we left, and said he tried to call us, but we were gone. We weren't here from her room. And I asked him, well, I think you heard me say that, asked him if he wanted to talk to his mother, and he said, I don't care. So I don't know what that meant. But anyway, I hate to get on that subject, but it is a subject, isn't it? So anyway, after talking to Randy, why we were glad to hear that he was home and back in the work week. I think he said he had to fly to St. Louis this week, and next week he has to go to Dallas for just a day, and I hope he gets back with it, and I'm sure he will. So I'm just about talked out. I don't know of anything else to say. We haven't heard from Otto and Audrey since we were down there, and we haven't heard from Lenora and Woody since we were down there. Well, we did hear from them because that's the week we had to go home when they had planned to come by here, but that had to be canceled. But anyway, we're back into the groove here, and hopefully Grandma's going to be all right and released back to Bethesda very shortly. So I'll take another look at this tape in the morning, which will be Tuesday morning. And if we haven't got too much left on it, I'll finish it up, and we'll get it in the mail to you along with some more goodies. You haven't said anything about receiving those goodies. Well, maybe you have. I don't know. I shouldn't say you haven't. But it's nice to send them to you. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Goodbye.
Well, hello again, family. Today is March the 11th, Tuesday. It's a beautiful day. We had a lot of heavy fog this morning and a little bit of rain, but didn't amount to anything. There's a helicopter going over right now, so I'm going to pause this. Well, he's gone a little way now. Anyway, I went to the beauty shop this morning and had my hair done, and next week I'm going to get a permanent. I've really grown a lot, and it's long and probably won't hold, but you know, we're having the thing tonight for Gertie's anniversary. I'm having the happy hour, as they call it, here at our house, so they're all due here at 5 o'clock, Ruth and John, and Karen, if she's feeling better. She had a doctor's appointment, you know, today, and her husband Jack and little Kelsey, and the Hardells, and Gordy and Dot, of course, and Ralph, scratch that out, Ruth and Alf Haiti. I don't know if you met them or not, Carol. You may have. But anyway, well, it'll be a nice party. I've got, I brought that little electric fondue thing that I bought down there from your neighbor, you know, that time. And I'm having the little smokies and Swedish meatballs and hard salami and cheese, cut up cheese. And I made the cold crab dip. And then I've got those little cheese crackers, and I've got Triscuits and Fritos and nuts, some cashews. So that's really all. We've got a 7 o'clock reservation for dinner, so we're not going to have a 2-hour wait, I'm hoping. And the cocktail hour will go fast. Anyway, don't know a whole lot. Danny and I went down to the grocery store after I got through at the beauty shop this morning because I had forgotten a few little items. got home here and went through the booze, and most of them are rye drinkers, and of course I didn't have much of that, so Daddy had to turn around and go back and get another bottle of that. Anyway, what else? We're sitting out here on the porch right now. The beach is really busy today because it's such a gorgeous day. Gonna sit here for about another, it's 2:30 now. I'll sit here till about 3:30, and then I'm gonna go in and get myself organized again. Don't know what I'm gonna wear yet tonight, but it's no big thing. So anyway, that's whatever I put on will be all right. I think I've got a little bit of a cold. My chest feels a little bit tight, and I'm a little bit nasal. I got sopping wet yesterday afternoon. I went across the street to the little grocery store, and while I was in there, a downpour came up, and I was caught right out in the middle of it, on Gulf Boulevard, right in the center section there. You know, they've got that divider, and I couldn't go one way or the other because the rain was pouring and the cars were coming, and I got drenched. I did come home and get a hot shower, but I was just chilled all the way through. I felt real cold. My hair was just hanging in my eyes. It was so wet. So hopefully I can ward it off. I took a couple Bufferin last night, and I'll do again tonight, so I'll take care of it. I'm going to pause this for a minute because I don't know how much is left on here. Well, I've got quite a bit left yet. I wanted to tell Sheila that I looked through the Sunday paper twice, and so did Grandpa, and I wanted to send her another update on the soaps, but it wasn't in Sunday for some reason. It always is. It's at home, and I know it is down here too, but they sure didn't have it in this Sunday, so I'll keep an eye peeled for next week and send it to her if I can. I haven't been watching them, so I'm not any help to her at all. One more thing, we talked to, I don't know if Grandpa told you, we talked to Randy last night, and they told us all about their trip and what a good time they had. And I should have played this back because I don't know what Grandpa talked or if he said anything at all after we talked to Randy. But we talked to both of them, and they said what a wonderful time they had, and that we would certainly enjoy it once we got over there, and I'm sure we will. We got our visas and our passports yesterday. They came in the mail, so that's all taken care of now. We had our passports, but we had to send them back in to get the visa, and now they have arrived, so we're all set there. But anyway, Randy didn't say anything. He said it was quite warm in Omaha, as it has been in St. Louis, too. And, Cheryl said her work was all piled up for her, waiting for her, and she said Randy was going to be in St. Louis on Wednesday, and just for the day and the evening, I think, and then I believe he said he had to go to Dallas. So Juanita had asked us when he was coming down, but we didn't know at that time, so we weren't able to tell her, and I'm sure that Randy's probably going to be too busy to even bother with it anyway. So we don't know anything more about Grandma at this point, so I'm hoping that maybe Ron will get around to calling us about Wednesday or Thursday if he can find the time. So I'll cut this off for now. I don't know anything else. I'm going to sit here and enjoy my rest of my drink that I'm having and watch the girls go by, as Grandpa says. There's been quite a few people in the Gulf, but I think the water is still, the temperature is, I don't know, in the 60s, and that's too chilly for us. I think they're mostly Canadians that go in out there at this time. We'll clue you in a little bit more after we have the cocktail party tonight. We'll talk to you in the morning sometime and let you know what happened and what our plans are for tomorrow. We're supposed to do something with Gates, but haven't heard any more, and I tried to call them a while ago and no one was home, so we'll just have to wait and see how that turns out. So take care, and we love all of you. Bye-bye.
Good morning to you guys over there or down there. It's Wednesday morning, about 11:30. Your mother just had me out in the sun, and it's so hot. It is perspiration was just running off of both of us. So I came in, and I'm sitting on the porch in the shade and having a screwdriver. And your mother turned over. She's on her stomach out there now, wanting to get that sun on her back a little bit. She woke up with a terrible sore throat this morning, so she doesn't feel too hot. We were supposed to go out to dinner with Gates, but she called him up, and we'll make it another day, because if you don't feel real good, that's not too good. This tape is going to click off, and if it clicks off in the middle of a sentence, well, you'll know that I was just trying to finish it up. We'd like to get it in the mail today. Last night was Gordy's 42nd anniversary dinner. We had the cocktails, as your mother told you, and then we went to a place up the beach here called Scandia. Had dinner, and then back to Hardle's for coffee and B&B. So that was about the story of last night. John and Ruth were over, but they didn't go to dinner. That Karen is still got ear trouble. They're going to stay another week now until she can get over it. The doctor said he wanted to see her again next week. So they're getting an extended vacation that they hadn't anticipated. Anyway, the beach here is full of people today. A lot of snowbirds walking by, and a lot of them already burnt to a crisp. So that evens everything up. It is really warm. Yesterday we had a lot of fog, and it kind of kept the temperature down. I guess the temperature was high enough, but it didn't feel so hot. But today it really is warm. So I guess you guys are having warm weather too. I glance at the weather there once in a while, and at 10 o'clock at night it's 77 or 80 degrees, so I'm sure it gets up to pretty warm in the daytime. I don't know why this thing hasn't clicked off. It didn't look like it had too long to go on it, but I really don't know any news. I haven't heard any more about Grandma, but no news is good news, because they would call Ron if something was wrong, and I'm thinking that it's not, that everything's all right. I haven't tried to call her person to person in her room yet, but I want to wait maybe till on a Sunday to do that when the rates are down, because it's higher to call. Not that the expense is that great, but I'll more likely catch her in on a Sunday. She's not going anyplace, but they have those phones in the bed rail, and it's on the opposite side where she sits. So if she was sitting in a chair, I don't think she could get to the phone. So I don't know how to handle that. But we write to her, and she knows that we're thinking of her. And really, it's not going to be that long. Today is the 12th, and in another 2 weeks, we'll be packing up and heading up that way. The first being on a Monday, we'll probably leave here on about Saturday or maybe Easter Sunday. And because our time then, after we get up there, is going to run us a little short, because we got quite a bit to do. Well, not really, but we got everything done. We have our passports and our visas, and enough money in the bank to come on over, so that's what we're going to do. And we haven't gotten a final itinerary yet, but supposedly we're going to leave St. Louis on the 25th of April and go to Los Angeles and spend one night till the 26th, and then be in Tahiti the 26th, 27th, and 28th, and then come to Melbourne, I guess, on the 29th. I don't know. I had thought we weren't going to get there till the 2nd, but looks like we might get there a little sooner. But I'm sure you'll be ready. Mike, he's looking forward to waiting at the airport for us. So I thought that was funny. Not that he had to wait at the airport for Randy, but what he said, that he's going to wait till somebody calls him and then let them do the waiting. And I think that's a good idea. I told you I'm sitting out here on the screen porch. I guess you can hear the waves. They're not real high today, and it's not real windy, but they're making a noise. I guess the tide's coming in. Makes a little bit more noise when the tide's coming in than it does when it's going out. So there's kids out here playing badminton without a net. And other ones are on those boards that they ski on the wet sand with. And there's a couple of surfers down toward the pier, and there's no waves to speak of. I don't know what they think they're doing, just floating around out there with them, I guess. Not a boat anywhere close. There's a couple way out fishing, but fishing must not be doing much good. So otherwise the boats would be